Hello everyone, and welcome to my Iconic Goodbyes channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless Monday, March 17th update. Billy asks Phyllis for forgiveness. Alan snaps at Traci. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 17th, suggest that Alan Lawson aka Martin Lawson will snap at Traci Abbott's questions, while Billy Abbott seeks forgiveness from Phyllis Summers. At Billy's house, he'll update Sally Spectra on all the rescue drama, which will make her nervous because he could have been walking into a trap. Billy will say that he had to step up for Phyllis, but he is quite satisfied to let the cops discover the kidnapper. Summer Newman and Daniel Romalotti Jr. will hug Phyllis at the GCAC, where she will eat a burger and reveal all the events of her incarceration, including the truth that Sharon Newman saved her life. Sharon will also tell Nick Newman about Phyllis saving her life with CPR while updating him at the cafe. There will be some discussion about how the captor appeared to be well-versed in psychology because he knew exactly which buttons to hit. After comparing the encounter to an exorcism, Sharon admits that she was able to work through some of her past issues with Phyllis. When Chancellor and his backup excavate around the room where Sharon and Phyllis were imprisoned, a clue will appear. Chance will find a remote-controlled gadget attached to the gas pipe and trace its purchase to a hardware store near Havenhurst. After telling Nick and Sharon the news, Chance will recommend they look over the security tape to see if anyone recognized appears. Given Sharon's ordeal, Chance will point out that no one would blame her for wanting to leave town for a bit. Nick will agree, therefore he will suggest that Sharon see Noah Newman in Europe and accompany Faith Newman. Sharon will agree to go if Nick does as well, so she will catch him off guard with her suggestion. Back at Billy's, Phyllis will become tearful as she begs him to let her join Abbott Communications. Billy will believe that Phyllis needs to recover from her tragedy, but she will argue that she needs work instead. Billy will admit that he did not include Phyllis's name on the press release because he initially feared she had abandoned him. Phyllis will forgive Billy immediately when he apologizes and asks for forgiveness, especially because he helped save her. On Monday's episode of YNR, Phyllis will eventually draw Billy into her arms as the two share a beautiful moment. At the GCAC, Alan will appear agitated as he questions Traci about what she is doing with his phone. Traci will apologize for invading and explain that she was concerned about the strange sound it was producing. After Traci mentions the strange security breach notification, Alan will act as if his phone was hacked. At one point, Alan suggests that identity theft may help him obtain a new perspective as a therapist. Traci will receive another signal when a remote device is disconnected and the gas emission stops. That will raise further questions for Traci, so Alan will yell at her before apologizing since he is anxious. When Alan suggests that their life together is all that matters, Traci will consider wedding options with him. After Traci proposes Paris as an alternative, Alan will decide they should take a flight there to look into potential venues. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Alan will continue to prophesy their rosy future, but Traci will face some heavy blows shortly. The true reason Young and Restless Sharon and Phyllis were captured might surprise you. The Young and Restless surprised fans by revealing that Traci's fiancé was the sick freak behind Sharon and Phyllis's kidnapping, leaving us not only fearful for the beloved Abbott, but also trying to figure out what his intentions may be. As it turns out, the underlying reason for the narrative may not be what you expect. Even more shocking than Phyllis's failure to return Daniel's calls shortly after agreeing to join the Abbott Communications team was Sharon's disappearance on Young and Restless after everything she'd been through. But this is exactly what happened. Phyllis and Sharon went missing and were later found in an abandoned mental facility together. What followed was nothing short of predictable, lots of squabbling fueled by panic, with brief spurts of cooperation, not to mention comic relief, tossed in for good measure. They soon realized they were part of an experiment, ostensibly to see if they could overcome their significant differences in order to survive. The Young and Restless revealed the identity of Sharon's abductor, which came as a surprise to viewers. We had a pretty good hunch as to why Alan/Martin selected Sharon and Phyllis, but we couldn't understand why the writers would put Sharon through this again so soon after her ordeal with Ian and Jordan. Phyllis, too, had gone through a lot with Heather's death and a near-fatal vehicle accident. They hardly had time to get back on their feet before the rug was ripped out from under them. Why? If you've been paying attention to how this has played out, you might already have an idea. The incident occurred just after Valentine's Day, when Sharon fantasized about reconciling with Nick and Phyllis fantasized about rekindling her old romance with Billy in Paris. When it was revealed that Sharon and Phyllis had both gone missing, the focus shifted to Daniel, Summer, and Nick, with Chance joining the investigation. Billy quickly joined in on the action when he realized Phyllis's safety was at risk. He called her burner phone repeatedly. In the present, instead of Daniel and Nick, we have Billy and Nick racing to Havenhurst like the legendary White Knights to help the damsels in distress. It stands to reason that the scenario was devised by the writers as a way of reigniting the emotions suggested in the Valentine's Day dream sequences between Schick and Philly. Still not convinced? After going through so much, Sharon deserves to get a second chance with the man she has always loved. While Philly appears to be a less plausible match because he is still in the honeymoon phase with Sally, Young and Restless hinted a Phyllis-Billy-Sally love triangle this year, and with Phyllis and Billy working side by side, it is not a stretch. Phyllis has previously had dreams about Billy, and he is plainly protective of her. If the rescue makes him realize he still has feelings, it's simply a question of time. 3 must-see YNR moments for March 17, 2025. The Young and the Restless spoilers offer 3 must-see scenes for the week of March 17, 2025. Fans should expect Chancellor to discover a clue. Meanwhile, Alan Lauren confronted Traci Abbott. In addition, Sharon Newman invites Nick Newman on a weekend trip. Chancellor's clue fans can look forward to Chancellor discovering a clue during the week of March 17. The detective orders his team to collect fingerprints and evidence. A remote control device was also discovered, which was used to gas Sharon and Phyllis Summers at Havenhurst Psychiatric Clinic. It turns out there is a hardware store nearby, which is where it was most likely purchased. So Chance will want to watch the surveillance tape to see if they can identify the kidnapper. Sharon Newman's invitation at the coffee cafe. Sharon and Nick catch up with the Great Rescue. Sharon is undoubtedly feeling much better now that she's had a shower, slept, and taken her medications. Nick is aware that Sharon has recently been through a number of horrible ordeals. So Nick will advise that Sharon take a trip to New York. Sharon is enthusiastic about the concept, but she wants to bring her ex along. Traci Abbott's Danger. The Young and the Restless spoilers state that one must-see moment involves Phyllis. Even after the victims of the kidnapping were rescued, the perpetrator remains at large. Alan and Martin Laurent thought it was just a game. Traci was caught staring at Alan's phone when the clinic alarm sounded. Traci can't stop talking about it, despite the psychiatrist's attempts to dismiss it. This will just put additional pressure on Alan and Martin. While Alan/Martin does nothing to Traci this week, she seeks assistance from family members. Traci receives guidance from Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott. Summer Newman's frantic panic. Fans will also notice Summer Newman's concern that her mother's kidnapper is still at large. While Summer believes her mother is still in danger, she could turn to Kyle Abbott. Even though Kyle had previously established limits, Summer knows how to worm her way in there. So it'll be interesting to see how Claire Grace Newman handles all of this. She has been patient thus far, but that will not last forever. Have we just met Young and Restless mysterious Aristotle Dumas? Billy Flynn is leaving Days of Our Lives after 10 years as Chad DiMera to join the Young and the Restless this spring. So far, there isn't much information on who he'll be playing, other than that it will be a brand new character. And, while it may leave his function open, we have some ideas about who he could be. Our first thinking naturally turned to Aristotle Dumas. He's the first new name we've heard recently, and we've all been eager to meet him and discover who he truly is. There is no way he can name himself and his company after Alexander Dumas, the author of The Count of Monte Cristo, without creating an identity for himself. The difficulty with that theory is that we've been assuming he was more of Victor's generation than a millennial, someone who mentored Damien after he moved out. Having said that, the mystery persona is largely a blank slate, with no one in Genoa City able to learn anything about him other than the knowledge that he owns the 2 businesses Damien operates. The show may go in any direction, and Flynn's role as a DiMera on Days of Our Lives makes him an excellent choice for a corporate giant. When we polled fans on our Facebook page on who he could play, he was by far the most popular assumption. Another option is to introduce a previously unknown legacy figure, such as Laurie Brooks' son. She was married for years to Maxwell Hollister, a competing businessman who even tried to bring Victor down. And lost. This would assure that Flynn could arrive in Genoa City as a fresh character, but with a long history with the other residents. If he's none of those alternatives and simply appears as someone with no links and is never addressed, he'd still be an excellent choice as a prospective love interest for Claire, Summer, or Lily. Granted, that could lead to him clashing with Kyle or Damien, but a soap opera isn't complete without some romantic rivalry. Caught in the act, answers required, health concerns. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 17th, indicate that some huge revelations are going to occur in Genoa City. Someone will be caught in the act, another will demand explanations, and one character is concerned about the health of a loved one. Traci Abbott is caught in the act. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 17th suggest that Traci Abbott will be caught in the act. Of course, followers witnessed her exiting Alan Lawrence/Martin Lawrence toilet in his GCAC hotel room on Friday, March 14th, only to hear alerts on his phone. She wondered what all the dinging was about and examined her cell phone, only to find a warning about a clinic security breach and sit there bewildered. Unfortunately, during Monday's presentation, Alan/Martin will enter the room and appear irritated when he notices her on his phone. What will happen next? Alan Laurent demands answers. When Alan sees Traci with his phone, he goes from soft and lovely to menacing, demanding to know what she is doing. Traci isn't the nosy kind, and she has no cause to suspect her new fiancé. Nevertheless, after all of this, she may see some red signs. Traci will most likely inform Alan that his phone was frequently ringing, and she wanted to check it in case he was missing something crucial. Martin has been parading around as Alan for a while, so if he lashes out and Traci tells him this isn't like him, he may slip right back into Alan mode and dismiss the alerts as coming from a clinic he's assisting and how he's synced his phone to receive notifications on a specific patient. Traci will most likely buy the explanation, but this could be the beginning of the end for Martin's farce. Damien Kane has concerns across town. Damien Kane will be concerned about his mother, Amy Lewis, and will ask Nate Hastings. She's been admitted to a Chicago hospital, and the look on his face in the preview video for the week of March 17th to 21st suggests he won't be happy about it. While Damien appears scared in the video, Nate may explain the experimental treatment plan that could benefit his mother. Because time is of the essence, Amy must begin immediately. Will Damien modify his stance once he sees that something like this has the potential to rescue his mother or at least give him more time with her? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon opens the door and Nick prepares to walk back in. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Sharon Newman was once again rescued by Nick Newman and others. But she and Phyllis Summers did something previously thought impossible. They survived until the rescue crew arrived. The tale turned out to be engaging, with some moments of doubt. Sharon, Phyllis, and those searching for them were unable to discover the abductor's motivation. Audience members recognized the feeling, as this story began strangely and remained unsettling until the finish. It is permissible to criticize every point in a story as it is told, which means it is fair to ask why this particular storyline occurred. However, the unveiling of Alan Laurent, or Martin, assuming this person is the believed dead identical twin, was spot on. Is Martin Laurent still alive and unwell? Martin could have been the brother who survived the window fall in Paris, France, which gave the impression that he died. Then, Alan could be revealed to be alive and suffering from the same mental disorder. Assume that Alan survived the fall. Traci Abbott would likely face a more difficult conclusion if she fell in love with a man who was not an imposter. However, if Martin lived, Traci would be in for a huge shock and appear to be in much greater danger. Viewers can only picture what would happen to Traci if she discovered or confirmed that he is the abductor. Given what this man, whatever he is, did to Sharon and Phyllis, it seems likely that he will do the same or worse to his current fiancée. When Billy Abbott inquired about Ian Ward's death, he acted like a die-hard fan. That is the type of question that someone who has been watching the show since Wise's first appearance would ask. So, why did Billy pose the question? It was a head fake for the audience at that time in the story. Every viewer who saw Ian wake up after being brought to the morgue imagined he was plotting retribution against Sharon and Phyllis. That was a reasonable assumption because Ian told Jordan Howard that the two guys thwarted his goals. So Alan or Martin's reveal as the kidnapper implies that he, not Ian, is the villain. Viewers can still assume Ian was not cremated, despite Nick and Chancellor's claims. Nick Newman can go forward. Nick and Sharon have spent a lot of time together since Ray Rosala's death. Currently, they are not romantically involved with any other character. Along with their history, current state of peace, and understanding, it is entirely possible that these two legendary characters are being written back into the role of a couple. It is unclear whether this will result in a long-awaited remarriage, as they have only been married once before. However, the reconciliation between Phyllis and Sharon has the potential to remove Stafford's role from the story. She might support Schick or make a play for Nick, reigniting her feud with Sharon. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.